fight her.
Oh, big right hand! One punch! That is it! Forget about the count. It is over!
Mikaela Destiny Laurén.
Hi, I'm Susie from Women's Fight News, and today I'm joined by Swedish boxer Mikaela Laurén, who is the former WBC World Super Welterweight champion. So thank you very much for joining me today, Mikaela, and how are you?
I'm good, thank you, and it's my pleasure. Anyone who does a lot to help female boxing, I'm just glad to help. Well, I'm doing great. It's just the pandemic, you know. It's still spreading a lot, and it's not good for work. But I'm hanging in there. I'm a fighter, so I'm not giving up. You know, just have to wait it out.
Yeah. And I wanted to start at the beginning. So what got you into boxing in the first place?
Well, you know, I watched a lot of Rocky movies and Jean-Claude Van Damme movies when I was younger. And I used to be a swimmer. So I was actually one of the best swimmers in Sweden. And when you're a swimmer, you can't really do other sports because you're afraid to get injured, and as a swimmer you already work out twice a day and you're 4 hours in the water, so you don't really have much other time to try other sports. But I just love the way, you know, fighters look, the way they could control their bodies. So when I quit swimming, I decided I wanted to try boxing because it was great exercise and it's also looks very cool. So I went to the gym to try it, and I just completely fell in love with it. And I mean, I was 28 years old, first time I stepped into a boxing gym. So I never thought I was going to be a fighter. You know, I just wanted to do it to stay in shape. But, you know, I'm very competitive, and I noticed right away I had some talent for it. So I just decided, you know, that this is what I'm going to do. First, my goal was to become a national champion in Sweden because I used to be a national champion in swimming, and I figured if I can be it in 2 different sports, that would be very cool.
Yeah.
But then after,
Yeah, that's great.
So when I started, yeah, I mean, it's not that many people who's become really good into different sports, and I felt I had a talent, and if it's something I have, it's the will to train hard and to learn new things. I love to take on new what do you call it, like new adventures, to try new things. And it's I wanted to go to the Olympics as a swimmer, and I tried 4 times, and I was very close. I was best in the country, and I had a Swedish record and everything, but I didn't really make it to the Olympics. So I figured, maybe I could make it to the Olympics in boxing instead. But back then, you could only be 34 years old to be an amateur fighter. And they didn't have the Olympics for women that time. So I figured I would become a professional fighter instead. So I fought as an amateur for 1 year, and I did 17 fights. And then I signed a pro contract within 1 year. And from there on, it is. So everything just went by really, really quick.
Really fast. So it was.
But that's the kind of girl I am. If I do something, I want to do it fully. Like I do it all in. So that's what happened.
And so it was 2009. Was that right? That you had your debut? Yeah.
Exactly. So I had to wait 10 months before I got my first professional fight, which was very frustrating because patience is not my best friend. I have no patience. I want things to happen right away.
Yeah.
But it's after I got my first fight, then everything went pretty quick. So I think I did like 4 fights my first year.
Wow. Yeah. So when you got going, you got going.
Exactly.
So you've had quite the career. I've already mentioned about you being the WBC Super Welterweight champion. What would you say has been a career highlight for you?
Well, I think it was when I won the WBC title. And also when I won the title, I was also the promoter of the show.
Oh, wow.
So it was double special, because in Sweden it was very, very hard to get fights because there was no one who dared to do boxing shows because it was banned for 30 years in Sweden. So it was hard to get sponsors. It was hard to get people come and watch it. So no one really dared to do shows. So if I wanted to get fights, I had to kind of help a lot myself. So I did a lot of shows myself. And that's been, one of the highlights of my career as well, to prove that, I could do it. It's a lot of hard work. But as a female fighter, it wasn't easy to get fights abroad, It's hard to get publicity, it's hard to get sponsors. So it was almost like I was working, 3 full-time jobs for a while. I had to work to get money to pay my bills. I had to train, to prepare myself for the boxing fights, and I also had to be the promoter of the boxing shows and do everything that has to do with preparing for fights. Book the arena, book the flights, book the fighters, get sponsors, do the posters, do the commercial, the press. I mean, it's hard work, but it's also fun, especially if you manage to make the show work and you still have energy to win the fight.
So how many fights did you promote?
I did 5.
Wow.
5 shows I did.
Gosh. So really you've been paving the way in Sweden.
Not that many.
So you paved the way in Sweden.
What was that?
You paved the way, really. You've been like the pioneer coming through.
Yes. Exactly. That's actually something I'm quite proud of. That I paved the way for female boxing in Sweden and for boxing in general, because it had just been accepted again in Sweden, but no one really dared to do boxing shows. No one really understood that boxing was allowed again. But I made a lot of noise, and I made sure we had really good shows. So and I performed pretty well in the ring as well. So if I look back, that's something I'm proud of.
And in terms of your actual fights, what would you say is the toughest fight for you it's been?
I had a lot of tough fights, but I would say I don't know which one I would say would be the toughest. Well, I mean, the most frustrating fights. I have a lot of frustrating fights, but I have two that I want to mention that were maybe not like really tough because they were like hurting, but they were frustrating because my opponents didn't really want to fight.
Okay.
One was against Christina Hammer, and she's a runner. You know, she didn't want to fight. She was just running around, and as soon as I got close to her, because I wanted to do infighting with her because she's so tall, she was just clinging on me, you know, like just holding. That was very frustrating. And also the same was with the Swedish fighter Clara Svensson.
Okay.
She was also running a lot, and when I got close, she was actually headbutting me a lot. So I got like 3 big cuts in my face, which doesn't look good. Although it wasn't punches, it was headbutts. It still doesn't look good if you have a lot of blood coming down from your face. It doesn't look good to the judges or the audience. And also she was also holding a lot, because she didn't really want to fight either.
Yeah.
So that's the worst. I don't like fighters who don't want to fight. They just want to get points and run around. That's very frustrating.
Yeah.
But then I must say, one of the toughest fights must have been against Cecilia Braekhus.
Okay. Yeah.
My last fight against her.
Yeah, because you fought her twice, didn't you?
Yes. The first one, it was back in 2010, and I had only been fighting for 1 year. I had done 6 professional fights, and then I got the offer because I beat the number 2 ranked in the world, Jill Emery, and I got a smaller title. And then I got an offer to fight Cecilia Braekhus, and deep inside I kind of knew I wasn't really ready for it.
Yeah.
But I still didn't want to miss the chance. I'd rather take a chance and fail than to not take the chance. So I took the chance, but I mean, I really had nothing to do there. I wasn't a finished fighter, but it helped me because then I knew how much more I needed to train, and I knew what it would take to become that good. So the second fight I finally got against her, I was there. I thought I was actually gonna beat her. The first couple of rounds, I thought I was the better fighter, and me and my coaches, we thought I was gonna get her down. And that's what's so exciting with boxing, because it's only one punch,
Yeah.
And unfortunately, she got a good punch on me, but it could have been me. So I'm very proud of that fight. Although I lost it, I'm very proud of the fight because I could have been the winner, And I think I showed both Cecilia Braekhus and the rest of the world that I deserve to be up there, and I really have something to do there.
And in terms of other fights, I mean, you had an impressive win against Ivana Habazin.
Yes.
Because, she's gone on then to fight Clarissa, isn't she? But you knocked her out.
Yeah, I stopped her in round 3, I think, already.
So
then I saw Clarissa Shields couldn't even stop her.
Yeah, so that's impressive.
Thank you.
And then also you beat Kaylee Reis, who's now a world champion again.
Oh, I didn't know that. Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, no, she's now super lightweight WBA world champion in her last fight.
Oh, amazing! That's amazing. She's a terrific fighter. I fought her in Spain, and she was super strong.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm never gonna forget that fight. I remember I thought she broke my nose because she's that strong. So I'm very happy to hear that she's a world champion again. It doesn't surprise me at all. She's terrific. So yeah, I mean, I had my highlights in my career. So but then also I had some fights that I'm not very proud of. But I mean, you can't always perform at your best. Just that's the game, you know. Sometimes you just have to live with it and try and come back stronger next time.
Yeah, because I think people are too busy keeping their undefeated record, aren't they? Not taking the fights, maybe, just to try and retain to 0.
Yeah, a lot of people are very, very scared of meeting, good fighters because they don't wanna lose. They're very afraid to break the record, and that's not good for the sport.
Yeah.
But that's just how it is, If you have a good promoter behind you, you're able to pick your opponents. Maybe the World Championship organization, they pick as their opponents. Offers for the fights just a couple of weeks ahead. But I actually just got an offer to fight Christina Hammer again.
Oh, really?
And it was just 4 weeks before the fight. And I mean, that's not fair.
No.
I mean, how can I prepare 4 weeks? And also, I'm retired, but that's just because she wants to beat me, and I don't think that's right. I mean, give me a good offer. Give me, at least a couple of months to prepare for it.
Yeah.
But she's a coward, She's always been a coward. She doesn't like to take tough fights. She wants to pick her easy fights, and then now that she had a tough fight against Clarissa Shields, she lost, and she lost big.
She did. And talking about being retired, what are your future plans? Do you think you'll stay retired, or do you think if you get a really good offer, you'll come out of retirement? Sorry, I don't know if you can hear that. It's really raining where I am.
Well,
so the noise is coming in.
I can hear you. Well, I hate the word retirement, and it makes me feel old. I mean, I love boxing, and I love the challenges and the kicks you get with it, and when I quit boxing, I didn't feel that I was really finished, because I started so late with boxing, and it felt like I was, still getting better and better.
Yeah.
But sometimes also you need to, make a decision that maybe it's time to move on. But I mean, if I would get the right offer, and in good time before the fights, I'm not gonna say, I'm not gonna take the offer. I'm not gonna say I've done my last fights. I did 38 fights, and my goal was to do 40 fights. So maybe I have 2 more in me. And I mean, if I would get to fight Clarissa Shields, I would love it.
Wow.
Or Cecilia Braekhus 3rd time, I would never say no. I mean, my goal was to fight Clarissa Shields, and I mean, I stopped Ivana Habazin the 3rd round, and Clarissa Shields had to fight her 10 rounds.
Yeah.
So, I don't think she's impossible at all.
So talking about that, and talking about the division, so Super Welterweight, who do you think's the top of the division right now? Who would you want to go against? You've mentioned Shields.
Clarissa Shields, for sure. Clarissa Shields. But there's also this Swedish girl, Patricia Bergholt. She's
Oh, yeah.
she beat Hannah Rankin
Mm.
and got the WBC title, my old title.
Yeah.
I think she's up and coming. I mean, she's still young. She's new in the game. I think that if she would get a real good promoter behind her, she can do a lot of good things in boxing. But now she doesn't really have a good backup.
Yeah.
So it's hard to get fights in Sweden, and especially during the pandemic.
Mm.
So if she would have someone who would help her, I think she could do a lot in the boxing ring.
Yeah.
But to get back to your question, I think Hannah Gabriel is a really strong fighter. I was actually gonna fight her, but then she backed out, which was very, very sad. That was one of the fights that I was really, really looking forward to. But WBC and the WBO, they couldn't get along who was gonna be the officials.
Okay.
So she backed out, which was very, very sad. So Hannah Gabriel, Clarissa Shields, and Patricia Bergholt, I think, are top fighters. Well, of course, Marie Descartes.
Yeah.
I forgot about her.
Yeah.
Yeah, she promised me a rematch, but then she backed out. I mean, I gave her a cut, I think, the second round, and then she was just running. We called her Run Forrest Run because that's all she did. She was just running the whole fight.
Yeah.
So it wasn't really a fight, which was very frustrating. But I mean, I had 2 weeks to prepare, and she's a southpaw.
Yeah.
So it's, I would love to fight her again as well.
And talking about, 'cause you mentioned how you got into promoting, so you've got quite into the business side of things. What's your opinion on, I mean, it's the hot topic at the moment, but on women's pay, what's your thoughts on all that?
Well, it's clicking a little bit. I didn't hear my point on what.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, it's cutting in and out a bit. Sorry. I was just wondering, because you've been sort of quite involved in the business side of it, what your thoughts are on women's pay, because it's quite the hot topic at the moment, as to whether, there's a big debate as to whether women are paid enough, and whether it's down to the promoters that aren't doing enough, that kind of thing.
Well, of course, I mean, the women are being paid less, and it's because people don't want to watch, female fights as much as they want to watch male fights, which sucks, Whereas I think that sometimes, the female fights can be a lot more exciting and a lot better than the male fights.
Definitely.
So I think, if the media helps to make the women more interesting, and the promoters help to put the females, on the headline fights, it's going to change. But everyone has to help.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be that females, barely get paid to fight.
Yeah.
It's horrible. And I mean, I know for me to get myself, headlines, and to get myself a name, and to get fights, and to sign a promoter when I was 40, I had to do crazy shit, like pour water over Ivana Habazin, kiss my opponent, spray mosquito spray. I've done a lot of crazy shit, but that's what I had to do to get people's attention.
Yeah.
But you shouldn't have to do it like that, I mean, I got a lot of haters, and I had to take a lot of shit, but at least, people knew that there are, females fighting as well.
Yeah.
And especially, in Sweden, I think it's been helping the sport. Everyone knows who I am. So,
Yeah.
I mean, it was bad in a lot of ways, but it was also good in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
And you just have to take the shit, And now after the career, I can more be myself,
Yeah.
because I'm not the psycho.
Yeah. No, definitely.
A little bit, maybe.
Definitely, because I was going to ask about all that because you are quite well known for all your pre-fight antics.
Yeah. But I mean, then people they know about me. They know I exist. They know there's a big fight going on. So, I mean, people should, thank me and be grateful. But that's also the thing. If you're female, you're not allowed to do that. It's bad, it's not, women like to do it. But if you're male, then it's cool and it's very accepted.
Yeah, you're right.
But as a female, you shouldn't do that. And I
Mm.
mean, when I was like giving Cecilia Braekhus a kiss during a press conference, people were saying it was sexual harassment, and she should, what do you call it? Um, when you go to like file a report
Okay, like press
against me and
charges.
stuff like that. Yeah, press charges. I mean, that's just silly. I
Mm.
mean, it belongs to the sport, to do crazy shit. It's not, that I was like touching her in the ass when no one else saw, or like pull her in a room and like tongue her. It's just stupid, But it's just people just want to find something to complain about and to be angry about. And I never understood that. They should just be happy that something is happening.
Mm. And in terms of boxing, and when you said you fell in love with boxing when you first started, was there any particular boxers that were your sort of inspirations?
Laila Ali,
Okay, yeah.
of course. Yes.
Yeah.
And it was Swedish boxer, Åsa Sandell. She fought Laila Ali.
Okay.
And she used to be a basketball player, and she started boxing when she was 30 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And I figured if she can do it, go from one sport to another when she's 30 years old, I can do it. So
Yeah.
she was a big inspiration for me. And then also another Swedish fighter, Frida Wahlberg.
Oh,
She
yes.
was a WBC champion, Unfortunately, she got injured in a fight, but she was a good friend of mine, and she was my sparring partner, and she was just an amazing fighter. Super talented. Her technique was splendid. So she was a big inspiration.
And
Also Natasha Ragosina. I don't know if you know who that is.
do you know what? I've not heard of her. No.
No, it was actually when I decided that I was gonna sign a contract, like a professional contract. It was the first professional fight I saw. She's a Russian girl, and she was fighting about winning 7 world titles. So I went down to Germany, and she was fighting Teresa Perossi.
Mm-hmm.
And she won that fight. So she won 7 world titles, and she was a Russian, tall, blonde machine. So she was a good inspiration to me as well. So you should Google her, Natasha Ragosina.
Yeah, no, definitely. I want to hear more about her.
Yeah.
And
I don't know what happened to her though. She disappeared.
And in terms of outside of boxing, have you got any sort of passions outside of boxing? Any sort of hobbies you like?
Well, I'm coaching a lot. I love to make other people sweat and manage to do things that they didn't think was possible, that they weren't able to do. So I mean, I'm a personal trainer, and I'm also teach boxing classes, and that's something I really love. I love to see, how happy the people are from my boxing classes, and also from my personal training, that they feel stronger and happier, you
Yeah.
know, if they train hard.
Um,
And then I love movies, but right now you can't even go to the movies.
oh no. Yeah. I was going to ask if you've got, because you've been through so much, you've done so much. Would you have any advice that you would give now to your younger self?
I think I did everything right, to be honest with you. But I could give an advice to other people, to not be afraid to try new things and not be afraid to lose, because it's worse to not take the chance than to regret it afterwards. I mean, you always learn from your mistakes, so don't be afraid to make mistakes. That's what makes you grow, and that's what makes you a better person and a better athlete. So always, you know, take the hard fights and, you know, just try new things, try new coaches. Don't be afraid to contact people that you want to, you know, train with and spar with. And don't be afraid to contact promoters and try to get sponsors, and don't be afraid to do crazy things like I did, you know, because it did work for me, you know. I got myself a name, and it helped me to get, you know, to get boxing fights and to get sign a promoter at 40 years old. So I think sometimes you have to be a little bit crazy to succeed. So don't be afraid of being crazy. It's a good thing.
Oh, that's great advice. So it's nice for all the up and coming people to sort of look up to you and to see with someone who's actually been there and done it.
Yeah. And don't forget to train hard.
Yes. Yeah. Brilliant. Well, thank you very much.
Enjoy it.
Yes. Yeah, that's true. Brilliant.
My pleasure. And I'll want to wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Oh, and you too. Have a lovely Christmas. It's been lovely to speak to you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
I'll talk to you soon.
Yes. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please click like now and subscribe. You can also follow me on Twitter and on Instagram. Thank you. Bye.